Hello friends, today we are going to start with unit number 4, and that is payment of tax. Let us start with the introduction. Payment of taxes is made through GST portal only, and as we know that GST portal is 100% online system. Okay. Payment is made through e-challan, which is valid for 15 days only. Such mandate forms can be obtained only after NEFT or RTGS payment is made. When you make the payment through NEFT or RTGS, then only the challan, e-challan will be generated, and that will be valid for 15 days, right? And then there is something called as CIN and CPIN. Okay, what is the CIN? CIN is challan identification number, and that is generated when the amount is fully credited on GST portal in the government's account. Okay, when you make the payment of GST, that should reach the government's account, and then only CIN is generated, that is challan identification number. It is generated by whom? It is generated by authorized bank. It cannot be generated by any other person, any other third party. No, it is only generated by authorized bank. Who is this authorized bank? Authorized by GSTN, GST network. Okay, this CIN, that is challan identification number, is indicated on the challan. CIN is communicated to the person and GST portal by the bank. Okay, so this bank, authorized bank, will communicate this CIN which is generated. Okay, that will be communicated to the person and the GST portal by the bank only. Okay, upon CIN generation and confirmation from the bank, common portal will auto create receipt. Common portal, this GST portal, this common portal will automatically it will create a receipt, and that will be a valid receipt. And CIN is a 17-digit number. Okay, now CPIN is common portal identification number. It has nothing to do with the challan. Okay, these two are different things. CPIN is different than CIN. CPIN is common portal identification number. It is 14-digit number plus 3-digit bank code. Okay, this CPIN is 14-digit number, and 3-digit, if you include this bank code, that will become the challan identification number. This is shown in the challan. Okay, these two are shown in the challan. Unregistered persons can make payment using temporary registration number. Okay, if there is someone who is unregistered, all these points were for the registered person. What will happen to the unregistered person? Unregistered person can make payment using temporary registration number, and after a few days, after verification, temporary registration number will become the permanent registration number. Okay, or the number which will be generated by the common portal, that is GST portal, will be allotted to the person by the GST network. This payment can be done online as well as OTC. How can you make the payment? You can make the payment through NEFT or RTGS or bank account transfer, or even OTC, that is over the counter in a bank you can pay. But this OTC payment can be made only up to 10,000 rupees. All these things are there in the slides to come. We will see everything in detail. This was just introduction. Who is liable to pay the taxes? All registered persons making taxable supplies are required to pay the GST. This is the tax through the GST portal. Okay, all registered person. Who are the registered person? Registered persons are those who have taken registration in the GST Act. And why do you take registration in the GST Act? It is to pay the taxes. Okay, so in cases like imports and notified supplies, other notified supplies, the liability may cast on the recipient. The reverse charge mechanism It means if you are not registered person, or if you are taking services, taking goods from an unregistered person, then you may be a victim of reverse charge mechanism, and you may have to pay the taxes. In some notified cases of intrastate supply of services, notified cases of intrastate supply of services, these are such services which are notified by the government and they are intrastate. It means it is they are the within the state supplies. The liability to pay the GST may be e-commerce operators through which the services are supplied. It means if you are an e-commerce operator or the supplier to the e-commerce operator, you have to pay the taxes even if you are not registered. You have to take the registration and pay the GST. If you are not paying, e-commerce operator will pay under reverse charge mechanism, but GST is definitely applicable. This is a part of section 24, e-commerce operator, section 24, where compulsory registration is given. It means we expect GST to arise on such transactions. Also, government departments making payments to vendors. Government department making payments to vendors. Vendors means suppliers above a specified limit under one contract as per section 51 1T are required to deduct the tax. This section 51 is for the TDS under GST, and e-commerce are required to collect the TCS section 52 on the net value of supplies made through them with the government. Hope you have understood this point. If not, please read again. When does the liability to pay GST arises? Liability to pay GST arises at the time of supply of goods as explained in section 12, and for services the time of supply of services is explained in section 13. So section 12 and 13, which determines the time of supply for goods and services, will be the time when you have to pay the taxes. That is when the liability arises. Okay, so the time is generally the earliest of one of the three events. Generally, I have given this point very generally. It is not specific. So all those specific time of supplies are discussed in section 12 and 13. Separate video is already made. It is there in the YouTube channel. Please go through that video if it is required at this point of time. But since we are learning the payment of taxes, this point is irrelevant. Okay, so the time of supply generally say is earliest of these three: receiving the payment, issuance of invoice, or completion of supply. So if you receive the payment at earliest, that will be the time of supply. If you issue the invoice at earliest, that will be the time of supply, or completion of supply will be, completion of the supply will be the time of supply if it is done earlier. Okay, so that is the liability and time of supply. And what are the features? See, this question is asked for 5 marks, and this question can be clubbed with some other question for 15 marks. So this is very important question. What are the features of GST payment process? Now the features says the payment processes under proposed GST regime will have following features. Electronically generated challan. E-challan is one of the beautiful feature of GST payment process. From GSTN, that is common portal, in all modes of payments. And what are the modes of payment? It can be NEFT, RTGS, bank transfer, or OTC. These are 4 modes of payment. You cannot pay the cash. If you have to pay the cash amount, you have to go to the OTC. That too up to up to 10,000 rupees. Facilitation for the taxpayer by providing hassle-free anytime, anywhere mode of payment. You need not go to the counters to pay the taxes. You can pay it at your fingertips because it is online system. This is a feature. And then convenience of making payment online. You can pay at any time. Is it not a convenience? And then logical tax collection data in electronic format. Logical tax collection data, it means if you are paying CGST and SGST or UTGST or IGST, whatever is the case, it is logical tax collection data, and that too in electronic format. It means there is almost zero error, almost, I said, not 100%, because even in the online system there are some mistakes. And then faster remittance of tax revenue to the government account. See, to the government account, whatever you pay the taxes, that will go to the government account, and that will be the faster, because it is online system, right? And then paperless transaction. Paperless transaction. See, it is online system, right? You need not pay anything on the paper. Speedy accounting and reporting, because it is online, it is everything, all the features, all the benefits of online system will be applicable here. And then electronic reconciliation of all receipts. This is the important point, because you may have one receipt today, you may get another receipt tomorrow or in the next month, or when next time you make the payment. For all such things you will get the receipts, and these receipts are the references and the evidence that you have paid the taxes. And these are very important documents. You should keep it, you should record, you should keep it as a record for longer period of time, right? And electronic reconciliation can be made, you can do it, or automatically it is done, of all the receipts. Simplified procedure for banks. Even for the banks it is very much simplified process. Even if you make the payment OTC, they will take it and they will just give it to the government's account, and it is already saved in their software. So if they select government's account, they can directly pay the taxes. Warehousing of digital challan. All those challans can be kept. Even if you don't save it, it is available for longer period of time, because warehousing is possible, right? Storing of those digital challan is possible, right? So that's all about the features of GST payment process. I have given you these many points. These 5 and these 6, 11 points have been given. This question can be asked for 5 marks, or this question can be clubbed with another question and will be asked for 15 marks, or even this can be a question of a part of case study. So this is a very important question. Please write all these points I have explained you. Write and explain these points. Explanation also carries the marks, right? So that's all for today's video. See you in next video. For any clarifications and suggestions, you can use the comment box below. Thank you.